Good evening, everybody. Hopefully you guys can hear me online. If you could let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. If you have any questions or you can't hear me or the stream breaks up, then just let me know in the chat and I'll try and recap and go fix it all. Okay, so we've currently got 8 people online. We'll just give it a few more minutes and then we'll get started, whiz through it. Hopefully we can get through this in 15 minutes or so and get out for Friday night. Hey everyone, I can see your message coming through. That's great. If you have any questions about Rally or along the way about any of the slides, just ask as you go along and we'll try our best to answer them. Okay, except for Eric. No questions from Eric. Okay, we'll make a start. So this recording, this YouTube is going to be recorded so you can play it back later. Okay, so today we're going to cover road rally safety. We're going to go over the start and the route directions, what to expect on the day of the event. We're going to run through the route instructions, so the 3 restarts, the finish, and then we'll close for questions. So, road rally safety. So first of all, I mean, these events are all about safety. All SCCA events are about safety, and this is no different. All the cars do need both a navigator and driver. The navigator provides the directional information, they manage time allowances, the driver drives. I mean, it's the workload is quite high at times, and so you really do need 2 people to do this. We expect folks to keep to road legal speeds, and the route directions are designed that way for folks to keep at road legal speeds. So don't, as you're approaching a checkpoint, don't slow down excessively, stop, or speed up excessively to make checkpoint times. We're expecting you to sort of arrive at generally the right time and cruise on through. So we don't want any safety issues around checkpoints. And then the other thing that's really important is to take time allowances. If you're running late, if you get stuck at a traffic signal, then take a time allowance. So it's pretty easy, just add a time allowance. That gives you an extra margin to get to the next checkpoint. If you're not familiar with time allowances, play with them on this event. Do your best. Don't rush, and treat it as a learning exercise for next time. We've got COVID safety protocols there for those folks who. So hopefully we cater to all the folks. So okay, start and route directions. So your start time is the car time in minutes plus 8 a.m. So tomorrow our start time is for the event. The route instructions start at 8 a.m. But it's a little far away, the start point for some folks. So our start time, our first car number out is the car 30. So, but the start time is 8 a.m. plus your car number in minutes. So if you could arrive about 15 minutes before, we've got about, I think about 40 cars showing up. And it's a relatively big park and ride, but 40 cars will make a big dent in the space we have available. So if you could arrive sort of on time, unless you have some specific questions you want to work through beforehand. So about 5 minutes before the start, check in with the starter. They'll probably want to look at your phone to check that at the top left corner, the competitor app, the GPS accuracy should be around about 3, 4, 5 feet. And you should see Peter walking around with his bullhorn calling for car numbers. So in the route directions, checkpoint and restart times are listed in the route instructions, plus your car number in minutes. So do we have any questions? Yeah, another, so YL5, Pomona said, and I can guess who that is, but if you get stuck behind a really slow car, use time allowances. That's the way to resolve that issue. Okay, day of the event. So tonight, charge your phone. It needs to be fully charged in the morning. I'd recommend bringing a battery or a charging cable. Install the app tonight and register. Check that in the top left-hand corner your GPS is good. When you're driving in the car, as you pass each checkpoint, the phone will beep. And if your phone is automatically connected to Bluetooth, or if it's in Do Not Disturb, you won't hear that. Just be aware that you may need to disconnect Bluetooth. You may need to turn up the volume on your car. For tomorrow, you do need the route instructions, so you need to print those out. We won't have any at the start, and a pen and the clipboard. So full tank of gas or electrons if you're in an EV. There is a charging station at the start location. So when you arrive, open the competitor app. You need to leave it open for the duration of the event. So that means that you can't switch it out, otherwise it will lose the GPS signal. If as you're passing a checkpoint, if it doesn't go off, in your instructions, if you could record the approximate time you passed the checkpoint, then we'll update the instructions, update the results later with that information if you email it to us. So what I would recommend also at the start is drive past the start. So you open the competitor app, drive past the start, the phone should beep. It's called here the test checkpoint, but it's the first checkpoint, and the phone will beep. If it doesn't, then return back to the check-in and ask for help. And the starts and restarts, the time doesn't matter, so you could actually do that as early as you like. And if there is a problem, the earlier you do it, the more time we have to fix it. If your phone doesn't work, there's things we can do. We can give you a later number, and we can start you later in the event, so we can always fix any issues. Okay, so you can see some questions coming up. Yeah, the password is in the instructions. So if you do email instructions, and your card number is also in there's a link to everybody who's registered. And if you could please use the card number associated with your name, that will make it much easier. Okay, if your phone doesn't register GPS, come back to us. It's normally because when you installed the app or started it, it would have asked for GPS permissions. The app does need GPS permissions in order to get a GPS fix. If you have a problem, then if you get lost, then email us. The email's in green. That email address is in the competitor app, and there's also a phone number in the competitor app. And texting or email is going to be the more productive way. If you call me, I could be helping somebody else, and it may take me a while to get around to it. If your phone rings, answer it, or if you get a text, answer it. It's probably me telling you that you're lost. We do try to keep tabs on where everybody is to make sure they're not getting too lost, and we'll try and help you get back on track. And then time allowances, as always, if there's a delay, please use time allowances. If your phone isn't recording times, so if the first times recorded, subsequent ones are not, then it's either one of two things. I mean, it could have just stopped working, or the sound is not turned on. Do the best you can, record the times manually and send them through to me. Okay, just checking to see if there's any questions. It looks like we're all good. Okay, we'll carry on whizzing through. Okay, so the start. So it's just off the 15. The address is up here at the top right. It's in the route instructions. You're going to drive across into there's multiple entrances. We're going to stage in this parking lot. And then when you're ready to go, you'll drive past checkpoint 1. There's a little sign here, that's where you need to zero your odometer. You can, in the route instructions, you'll see there's a sign. It's right here. The route instructions then tell you to drive forward to the traffic lights, and the next route instruction tells you to turn left. So turn left at these traffic lights, and when you get to the next traffic lights, you keep going straight. There's no, in Road Rally, if there's no direction, you keep going straight. So it's not left, it's just one left at the start and then straight across at these traffic lights down here. Yeah, so stage here, open the app, show it to us about 5 minutes before. Don't forget to zero your odometer. And then the first leg from this checkpoint to checkpoint 2 is just for odometer verification. So there's no score. Okay, so the checkpoint 2, that is actually you zero the odometer. So Steve's saying, do you zero the odometer at the exit? You zero the odometer at the sign here. So there's checkpoint 1 is at the sign, and you zero the odometer at the sign. Okay, so checkpoint 2. So you've traveled about 7.5 miles. We've changed the location of this checkpoint. So if you ran this last time, keep going past the old checkpoint. You'll go around the corner to a set of traffic lights, and then eventually you'll turn into a, uh, a shopping area, retail area, and you'll enter a parking lot between a Subway and um, a Mexican food restaurant. So as you enter there, on the right-hand side, there's a fire hydrant, and that's the place where we did the odometer check to and from. So as you enter here, that's where you'll read your odometer, and as you leave, this is where you'll zero your odometer. Now, okay, I'm just checking to see if there's anything else here. I think that is about it. And okay, let's just double check that where it says exit. Okay, yeah, so it's definitely zero the odometer at the sign, this checkpoint here. Yeah. Sorry, we reuse these instructions across Road Rally, so we need to follow the route instructions. Yeah, follow what the route instruction says, not what this presentation says. The route instructions say zero the odometer at checkpoint 1. Okay, so you've arrived here, you've measured 7.61 miles, hopefully on your odometer, and if you've never used a GPS odometer, I would strongly recommend using a GPS odometer on your phone. Your car odometer is only accurate to a tenth of a mile, and or only has a resolution of a tenth of a mile, and is probably less accurate than that. So GPS odometers are the way to go. If you've never used them before, try it tonight. I wouldn't try it at the event for the first time. As you're leaving this checkpoint, so you're starting the rally for real, you're going to hit 2 sets of traffic lights. And so we're going to get stuck behind traffic lights. There is a checkpoint after the second set of traffic lights about 2 miles down the road. So if you need to take time allowances, this is the place to start taking time allowances. So yeah, take time allowances, don't rush through traffic lights. I can see there's a question about what is a good GPS odometer app. Unfortunately, I don't have any good recommendations. On Android, I'm using the Richer app. It's about $5. Yeah, as Car Zero is saying, you either need to learn how to split screen applications on your phone or have a second phone to run the GPS odometer. If you've never done this before, I would recommend trying it tonight and actually jump in your car and drive around and try and zero it, because they're not as logical as you might think. Okay, the next break is as you turn right into Santa Margarita County Preserve. You're going to go through some twisty roads and down a steep hill, and then you'll turn right into the first gate on the right. It's a dirt parking lot, so please take care if you've got a low car. And then exit on the, so you enter through, there's two gates, enter through the right gate, exit through the other gate that's now on your right as you exit, and you're going to zero your odometer as you pass that gate. Okay, last checkpoint is at Red Hawk Community Park. At these last two checkpoints, there are definitely bathrooms, and even at the first, sorry, these last two stops, there are definitely bathrooms, and at the first stop there's a subway if you do need restrooms. So this last checkpoint, you turn into a Red Hawk Community Park. There is as you leave, there's a stop sign at the end. That's where you're going to zero your odometer. Okay, and then we finish. So you'll pass the last checkpoint just before you cross over the freeway, and then it's about another 10-minute drive down to Prohibition Brewing. The route instructions will take you there. We'd like for you to come. It's completely optional, of course. Prohibition Brewing, they do food, they do beverages. They've got an indoor area. They've got a pretty nice outdoor area. It's a big facility, lots of parking. You're welcome to come, say something to us, um, and say hello. We do have trophies from previous events. If you're waiting to pick up a trophy, we will have them there. And we've also got some autocross or solo folks showing up for their award ceremony. Okay, any questions? I can see Car Zero's asking about the last restart. I don't know if you had any specific questions. The last restart is checkpoint number 18. Anyway, if you want to type them up, I can try and answer them. I'm just whizzing through. It looks like we've got all of the questions answered. Some GPS odometer recommendations. Okay, so I'm going to say thank you very much for joining us. I, I will say have fun and be safe. It can get quite stressful in the car at times. You're dashing up to a checkpoint and you're late, something happens. Yeah, I think the most important thing is we stay safe, but you keep talking at the end as well. Yeah, and have fun. You should already have an email with your car number and route instructions. If you haven't, email us as soon as possible. I know a couple of folks didn't complete their speed waivers, so we do need speed waivers before we send out the route instructions. Yeah, keep speeds reasonable and safe. That's part of our sanction. We do need to keep it safe. And yeah, remember it's a rally and a competition, but not a race. So no speeding, no racing. Time allowance process is there, so safety first. If this is your first road rally, just take it easy. It's probably more about getting familiar with time allowances and directions, and it's difficult. It's not unusual to get scores in the thousands, so don't worry. And then yeah, meet rally participants at each of the breaks. You should meet folks. They're probably going to point out the challenging areas that they're having, and hopefully we can talk about the fun you've had. Okay, last few questions. I can see the solo award starts at about 12:30. I think we told folks to arrive about noon. Results we post online at the SDR SCCA webpage. And unless you have any more questions, I think we're good to go. If you do have any more questions, email us and tonight, and we'll try our best. Otherwise, try and arrive a little earlier tomorrow. Okay, I think we're good to go. Thank you very much, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Okay, thanks.